Okay, so we're starting out with completing the square like ancient mathematicians. What you need to do is you need to go ahead and read over this and then discuss with your group on number 1. Pause the video. Okay, so hopefully you were able to discuss with your classmates exactly what you think may have happened and how he may have done this. Why did he draw this? Well, when we did the area models, didn't we have the 5 and the x and the 5 up here, x and 5, and then just multiply? Well, if that part was missing, don't we know that 5 times 5 gets us the 25? Okay, so what I want you to do is go to the next page and I want you to discuss number 2. Pause the video. Okay, so you should have done number 2, and I'll look at it right here for a second. Now hopefully you went ahead and drew in right here what you needed to in order to get your perfect square. Now when you did this, you should have gotten that you have on this side x plus 3, and on this side also x plus 3. Should have gotten 9 complete squares down here. The dimensions, that means this side times this side. So this side was x plus 3, this side is x plus 3. Then when you're doing this and you're multiplying it out, remember this is x squared, this is 1x, 1x, 1x. So that would have gotten 3 x's there, 3 x's here, so that's where the 6x come from. The c is this value down here, 9. And this little squiggly or question mark is what is this side right here? So we had a plus 3, so that's where that 3 came from. So go ahead and do number 3. Stop the video. Now hopefully on number 3 you drew something similar to this. Now you didn't have to color code it, and no, mine isn't perfect, but that's okay. Then it's asking you how many more tiles you need. So this area right here, you should have gotten 25. Then the next one, what are the dimensions? So we should have noticed this is x, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then over here we have x, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So x plus 5 by x plus 5. Then the last one says to replace the c in question mark. So what was the c? What was the value up here? Well, we said 25. The question mark is, what is this number right here? And that number right there is a 5. Okay. Next on our list of things to do is do number 4 in your group and number 5. So pause the video to do numbers 4 and 5. Okay, number 4. Okay, I got 16 tiles here. I got this as x, and I got this as 4 over here. I got this as x, and I got 4 on this side. So my c value was 16, my question mark was 4. On this one down here, hopefully you noticed that half of 2 is going to get us 1. So this right here would have been x plus 1, x plus 1. Then we would have had a 1 by 1, which is 1. So over here, I have how many units? 1. It's x plus 1 and x plus 1. My c value is 1, and my question mark is 1. Okay. Now let's talk about this. You're going to look at number 6 and number 7, but let's talk about it for a second here. The first question on number 6 is asking you, how did you determine the C value, this one right here? go ahead and compare it with here. How did we get that 16? Okay, and then the second part of 6 is asking you, how did you get this 4 right here? So go ahead and talk in your group for numbers 6 and 7. Okay, number 6. Hopefully you divided the b value in half and you squared it. So if I turn this back over here, my b value was 8. Half of 8 is 4, and I squared that to get 16. Then if I was talking about the question mark, isn't that just half of your b value? So that is how I got the question mark. It's just half of the b value. Now, number 7 is asking you this, and I did not finish this. C is found by taking half of the b value and squaring it. Now, when I went to write this part over here, I apologize because I started doing this. Okay, remember that b over 2 squared is the same thing as the c value. If you notice, these two, they cancel themselves out. So then you're left with just this. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. So what I want to do right now is we want to do some practice problems. So we're going to find C. And I'm going to use a different color to find C on this one. We just said a minute ago, in order to find C, that's the same thing as taking b, dividing it in half, and squaring it. So I'm going to take the b value, which is 12, divide it in half, and square it. So when I do that, I get C equals 12 divided by 2 is 6. I square that and I get 36. Okay, now rewrite the trinomial as a perfect square trinomial. So that would have been, not C, we're using x, sorry about that, x plus 6 all squared. Right now, all I want you to do is on these right here, I want you to find all the C values. Do that first. All the C values. Pause the video. Okay, you should have found all of your C values. They should look like this. Now, if you notice, Ms. Grambois forgot to do the second half. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to take x plus 6 squared. X minus 2 squared. How am I getting that number? I'm dividing the b value in half. X minus 5 squared. X, a fraction, I know, horrendous. X plus 3 over 2. Why did I write 3 over 2? Because that one was 3 over 2. I meant to say 7 over 2. Then I come over here, x plus 10 all squared. X minus 3 all squared. X minus 6 all squared. X minus 3 over 2 all squared. And x plus b over 2 all squared. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and look at number 18. And let's do this together, okay? So complete the square on the left side of the equation. So we just talked about we take half of this and we square it. So half of 10 is 5, and we square that, get 25. Now we've talked repeatedly about the fact that if you do something to one side of the equal sign, you must do it to the other side of the equal sign. Then it says down here, what's your new equation? So we just learned that we can write that as x plus 5 all squared equals, well, that's going to come out to be 64. Then it says take the square root of each side. So if I'm given this, and change colors for a moment, I'm going to square root both sides of the equal sign. So this comes out to x plus 5 equals plus or minus 8. So that means that it's going to be x equals negative 5 plus 8, or x equals negative 5 minus 8. So x equals 3, or x equals negative 13. Now you can always check and make sure that you have the right answer by plugging it back into the original. So if I plug in 3 squared plus 10 times 3, does that equal 39? Well, 9 plus 30, does that equal 39? Yeah, 39 equals 39. So we know for sure that 3 works. Then if I plug in negative 13, I do the same thing. Does that equal 39? Well, that's 169 minus 130. Does that equal 39? It sure does. So that means that they both work. Good job. Now, this next part, I want you to think about it real quick. Pause it and talk to your classmates. Okay, so hopefully when you went through this, you noticed that he only came up with 1 root. Didn't we come up with 2? So maybe he forgot to do the plus or the minus. Okay, that is lesson number 21. Get ready to do lesson 22.